She's still got both hers. They were born yesterday. That first drink's crucial with the colostrum. These new stands that we got for free. Well, if you want to know how windy it is. Good morning everyone, what's going on today? It's Tuesday morning this morning. I'm just heading around the ewes, the AI ewes, to see how many more have lambed overnight. So if you remember in the last episode we split them in half and put some on the ryegrass down here, but surprisingly there doesn't look to be too many that were born last night, which I thought there sort of would be, because they started sort of yesterday mid-morning or lunchtime, and I just would have thought there would have been a heap of lambs out here this morning, but they're all very close, like you can see. Well, there's one. They're all getting very close. It's just I just thought there'd be a lot more overnight, that's all. There's one. Just a single by the look of it. Dad and I actually came out last night for a bit of a spotlight in these two paddocks. Excuse me. For a bit of a spotlight to see if we could see any foxes, and we saw two and shot one, so that's one less fox that's going to be killing lambs. It's been very uneventful so far. I've only seen one new lamb. Those last two were born yesterday. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another great day. There's two freshies. Don't follow me. She's still got both hers. They were born yesterday. Good mum. I'll leave you alone. You're right. It's good to see. So I think that checks out. There was two twins and two singles in this paddock born yesterday, and then a single in the other paddock, something like that. So I think they're all accounted for so far. Was a little bit worried up in this top corner of the paddock here. There's a fair bit of overburden of dry feed, and that I was a bit worried that they'd lamb in and then lose their lambs or not be able to protect them against the foxes. But luckily, sort of, apart from that one, they've mostly lambed down a bit further, where there's a little bit less of an overburden, which is pleasing. Because I have talked about it before, but generally sheep will camp sort of point of the paddock, so that they can look down and see their sort of predators, or just see everything from where they're camped. So that's part of the reason they generally go up on top of a hill and lamb, or go to a high point at least anyway. Oh, that's proven to be very uneventful. I thought there'd be a lot more lambs than that. Oh, they come in, they're not far away. Generally a little bit earlier with AI lambs, for whatever reason that is. But anyway, I'll come out and check them at lunchtime. We didn't have any trouble last year in terms of having to pull lambs or preg tox or anything. So this is Carly, if you didn't watch the last video. She's the newest edition. She's riding shotgun at the moment because just wait till she's a bit bigger before she goes on the tray, just because then she can handle a fall if she falls off. But while she's still young, 12 weeks old, she ride in the front for a little bit. Just taking these single lambs back to give them a drench and a multi-min, and then they go into their fresh paddock.
Alone in my apartment, I should have seen the warning sign. Money don't come easy, so most of us are chained to being busy till we can earn a little peace of mind.
Off they go, drenched and multi-minned. Rightio, so I've just come down here to the ryegrass where the AI ewes are lambing. I'm just going to sort of split them in half again, and put some in that paddock, because it sounds like there's a bit of wind. Oh, you can probably tell there's a bit of wind starting to pick up, and I think it's meant to be a bit cooler this afternoon. And if you're a farmer, you know, but if you're not, we are completely dependent on Mother Nature. It influences all of our decisions, or most of them. We've just noticed that there is a bit of weather happening this afternoon, so therefore we've got to change plans accordingly. As you can see, there's really good shelter in that paddock, lots of trees. The wind's going to come from that way, so they can sort of get a lot of shelter in that gully there, and potentially just for the night or the next couple of days while they're lambing, just to give them a really good protection for them and their lambs. More their lambs more than them. They'll be fine, but just somewhere they can find a good place to lamb onto, because this paddock, as you can see, it's sort of pretty open, and they all sort of lamb over in that. Let me get over here a bit. They all sort of lamb where they are over there now, as you can see, along that creek and along that tree line, and so we don't want all 30, 35, 40 ewes that are in here lambing over there tonight. That's what we're doing. Change of plans. Set of twins just born. Maggie, come here on, dear. Another single. There you go, girls. So you might be able to tell this, although this microphone does a pretty good job of blocking out the wind, but yeah, it's starting to pick up now and it's getting a bit colder. I got this jacket about a month or so ago, and it's yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm really liking it. It's nice and long, so it covers your legs, so that if you got to catch a sheep or something, you don't get wet pants, which is, yeah, really good. So the lambs will be fine. You might be a bit worried about me talking about this cold weather coming, and you know, you might be thinking, well, are the lambs going to survive? Yeah, definitely. It's not going to get that cold. If the lambs can get their first drink, that first drink's crucial with the colostrum. They'll just about survive anything. They can be born in near sleeting snow, and you know, as long as they get that first drink, they'll survive and do wonders, and it'll you know, make them stronger for the rest of their life, really, if they can survive through that. We don't get snow here, but it does get pretty cold. Occasionally you can get sleety sort of a stuff, which I guess is kind of snow, but it never really settles, or doesn't. Only once in my life has it ever settled on the ground, so pretty lucky in that respect, I think. Seeing places like Canada that have been in snow since like November, which yeah, just I'd say we're pretty lucky. I don't know if I could handle that. Alright, quick bit of lunch and a bike change, and I'm just taking these stud ewes back to their paddock now, or not back to their paddock, to a new paddock. There'll be enough feed in here until they lamb. Yeah, they needed a new paddock. They were running out of feed in their old paddock, so I condition scored them, and they're about 3.5, which is not too bad. It's pretty good actually. Sort of 3.5 or above is good when in the lead up to lambing, because they're probably going to lose a little bit of condition while they lamb. At least twins will. Singles probably a bit easier to keep the weight on them, obviously, because they're only growing and feeding one lamb as opposed to two. So what are you doing? Push him up. Sit. Yeah. Wait. No, you have to wait. Good girl, Max. So I've just come out. These are the early crossbred twin lambers, and they actually need to be shorn. There's only 63 of them, so Dad and I'll do them in the morning, just because they're getting too close to lambing and we can't afford to leave them any longer. So just come out to get them out of their paddock. They're on, it's a pretty new pasture, Phalaris, cocksoot and clovers. So you can see this is actually the paddock that we put the gibberellic acid on last year. If you don't know what that is, I'll try and remember to put a card up here somewhere to go and watch that. It was pretty interesting to see what it did, and yeah, it's bounced back well this year again, as you can see. Going to leave him here for the minute, just until a bit later on, and then we'll get him in and might shear a few of the Savo and then finish him off in the morning to see what Dad's up to at home. We've got trying to press up all the wool at the shed too, and up at Doughboy as well, so just see how we get on. We'll either do it the Savo or the morning. That'll do. He make it. Alrighty, we're just putting up these new stands that we got for free. Sort of, not really. We just did a bit of work, and it was a big place we were working, and they were replacing all theirs with Evos, so we got a couple of these off him. Don't know, we'll see how they go. There, that's an Evo, that's what I'm talking about. That's what they replaced them with, the Heinegger ones, and this is Sunbeam or Super Shear now. So they should go alright, better than the old ones. Dad said this one was older than he was, I think, and he's 52. Yeah, I don't know how old this one is. It might have a plate there somewhere. Made in Australia, you wouldn't see that anymore. Alrighty, next morning now, I've just come out to check these ewes again, and we've had a set of triplets. But this closest one looks a bit cold, so I might actually take these three home, try and keep them going. Yeah, I've said it before, if you could have all ewes have twins, that'd be ideal. Singles, you know, obviously 2 is better than 1, but 3. But triplets are just a bit, take a bit more managing. They're, you know, obviously 3 lambs that the ewe's got to try and protect herself, and it just makes it a bit hard when they're out in the paddock like this. But looking around this morning, it looks like we've had a fair few lambs overnight, which is typical, because today you'd blow a dog off a chain. It's that windy out here, so they'll always lamb in the worst weather, the sheep, but that's just the way it is. It's not too cold, which is alright. It's windy, but it's really not that bad. But yeah, no, there's a few lambs down there. I won't disturb them too much. We'll go back and get the trailer and take those triplets home and put them in a little paddock around the hay shed there. There's good green pick in there for them, and well sheltered paddock. Another set of twins. It's like they're really kicking into gear now. Still got both her twins. They were born yesterday morning. Well, if you want to know how windy it is, that's how windy it is. Better make sure there's nothing damaged on that, and then we better put it in the shed. And it looks alright, it's just blown over. There's no chemical in there, so it's pretty light. Just had to go into town and drop Dad's ute off. It's getting a timing belt done, so I'm just going to go out and get those triplets now and bring them back and put them in the feedlot. But it's starting to look pretty nasty out to the west there. Yeah, so we'll get them home and put them in this little sheltered paddock here, and they'll be able to get out of the wind there. Not that it's too bad where they are, but just be better if they're back here, then we can keep more of an eye on them. So there we go. They're all pretty healthy, which is good. Hey little fellas, get you back home. We'll just have a bit of a look around while we're here, make sure nothing's having trouble. So just gonna let them in here, and we'll leave them in here for a couple of days, just until they get going and are strong enough. But they're going alright, and she's a pretty good mum by the look of it. So I don't think we're gonna have any trouble. But just to make sure, as I said, it's a lot harder. There's a big step up between looking after 2 and 3 lambs. So I just brought her back here around the shed here for a few days. But they're little goers, aren't ya? Eh? Good mum. That'll be good, that'll block the wind. Wind's coming from that direction, so sit. Wind's coming from that direction, so that'll give them good protection. Mum can come out here for a feed. Yes, you don't need to go over there, do you? You don't need to go over there. So anyway guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for another one. Dad and I, we're just going to go up and press some merino wool up. We're going to take it up to Goulburn tomorrow to sell, or to go up to auction. So I'm going to go do that now. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that one. Any questions, put them down below. Keep an eye on those triplets. They should be fine now though. They're surprisingly, oh not surprisingly, but they're going very well. They've all had their first drink obviously, and they're strong and healthy, up and about, making a racket, so that's always a good sign. Keep an eye on them for a couple of days, and then we'll let them back out the paddock. But yeah, this weather is just turning. Today, yeah, it's not much of a day for anything but shed work really. Try not to do too much sheep work today. Do have some ewes we've got to shear, but I'll try and leave that till this afternoon a bit. I'll just put them in a little holding paddock till this afternoon. I think I don't really want to be shearing them and letting them out in this weather. These are the ones that I was bringing home yesterday. Yeah, anyway, I've rattled on enough, so hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Alrighty guys, see ya, bye.